had one play day prior to this, though. You know, Dev likes to bang on about it. Only 0 points for Order. Well, they played one game. But that one game, though, to be fair, was against 7th Heaven, and they got beaten quite convincingly. 7-3 could have been even worse on a pretty structured map like Clubhouse. But we come over to Oregon, where, of course, the self-proclaimed best team in Oceania on Oregon now goes up against Giants, though. I don't know how this one's going to play out. Well, that's an interesting ban, though. We've seen 3 matches of Oregon today, guys, but we haven't seen a Monty ban.
Well, the Giants, they are definitely renowned for some Monty play. Lunametal can do a lot of damage on that operator when given the license, so Order target banning that and getting rid of it. It's interesting that you mentioned that Order think they're the best team in OS on Oregon. Unfortunately for them, their most recent games on Oregon were not great. They lost 5-7 in the Rect Omen Gauntlet, and they also then lost 1-7 a little bit prior to that in the finals, in fact, for Oceanic Nationals 2020. So to say that this is the best map for them, I am not so convinced anymore. That is well and truly up in the air. Sure, maybe if they win tonight, but still a big question mark for me.
No, I have to agree with you. I think, and bringing up that national performance that we've seen in the past couple of weeks per se definitely rings true. They haven't quite looked like this unstoppable force on Oregon like they self-proclaim, but maybe it's still there in the back pocket, and when it matters the most, and this is when it matters the most, right? APAC South against a big team like Giants, this is when you throw everything on the line. Well, you kind of hope they're speaking some sort of levels of truth that they actually are pretty good on Oregon. But the thing is, Giants are pretty good just about everywhere. And Giants are looking for revenge, right? Not so much so against Order, but just in general. They copped a 7-3 defeat on Playday 1 against Xavier. So they're looking to get on the board. They're looking for their first points as well. And that's a kind of a scary prospect for Order here. You've got a rampaging Giants coming at you here.
Giants are not to be underestimated. They were one of the strongest teams in APAC North last year alongside Cloud9. They are not to be messed with. They will bounce back. Whether it will be this game, we'll have to wait and see. But at some point in this season, they are going to switch on. Order, as you said, need to be prepared for that. If this is the game where they return and go, hey, we are here, not here to mess around, Order could find themselves in a lot of trouble really, really quickly if Giants mount that pressure.
Yeah, and for Giants, you would expect them to dictate the gameplay, right? They are the more impressive team. They've got the accomplishments, they've got the accolades, and Order need to rightfully respect them. It goes without saying. But Order also have to, at the same time, respect themselves, and especially here on the attack on Oregon, where we are seeing something like a 65% win rate for the attacking sides on Oregon. They actually need to be the ones to step up and try and dictate the match as best as possible. I think a 3-3 half would be okay for Order. 4-2 definitely should be the goal. It should be the aim. Intriguingly enough, actually, we start on Dorms first up. We had, I think, the first match, the first site last time on Oregon was Kitchen Meeting. Usually it's like basement, so we're just about doing the world tour.
A little bit like that. Giants, interesting pick onto the Warden. That's Luna playing that operator. Of course, MPX with 1.5 can do quite a bit of damage alongside those glasses, which I guess might be to try and counter a potential Ying pick from Order as Hysterics gets the first pick. That's the front door player of Specker. Take it off the board. Those Ash Chargers will no longer have any play in this round.
A very early kill as well. That doesn't make things impossible for Order, but it will certainly make things more difficult on the attack. Down a player, you're already going up against Giants, who are now set up really nicely around the sites as well. And that's just one less avenue of attack for Order throughout. Player hanging around backstairs for Giants as well. Jordan sweeping down below with Hysterics. So good vertical roam here for Giants on the defense. Order's really up against it here. They look for a bit more of a default attack through games, and Attic as Jack Dad does find a fray back, actually, tying it up 4-4.
Also means there's only 2 players on site, 2 below as we saw earlier on the roam. If Order realizes quickly, they could capitalize, but it seems like they're not really in the best of positions to do so just yet. That said, Jack Daddy will send a drone out over towards Games, and he might be able to get some intel for his team. If they know that it's just these 2 here, Order might be able to send it if they have the openings and try and trade it out.
Oh, nice little peek from Speakeasy. Takes out Cutie, who was hanging out in Attic, looking to push down into Pit. 55 seconds left. Advantage back over to Giants, but just like that, Ippy Style makes his way into Games, and he might find a second one here. Never mind. Jordan shuts him down. And then lays prone after taking a bit of fire back from Ippy-Style. 40 seconds left on the clock, so there's still a lot of time remaining in this round. A flank coming in from behind by Stairs. No, Jack Dad only gets one back to the 2 of Giants, and 2 is enough to win round number 1.
Well played there by the Giants in the end. It felt a little bit claustrophobic for them over the top of White Stairs, but they won those ones. They traded it out, and they just held on. Order did manage to get some presence in the site, but it wasn't quite enough, and they didn't have a foothold to find the picks required in order to convert it. But I did like the intent. The fact that Order are willing to try and send it in towards the site, get something going, is a good positive sign. Sure, it didn't work out in the first round, but that's the kind of playstyle I think they need to try and bring to the table.
Good signs as well, I think, for Ippy-Style from a personal perspective. Has been a bit quiet recently for Order. Just to be able to walk in games, find an early frag as well. Almost got a second. I mean, just inches away really from finding a 2 there. Good signs, at least individually. Order, not too bad considering they were down really from the get-go. Speckers played all of 45 seconds. Didn't really get an opportunity to make anything happen in that first round. They go down to basements now, of course, Giants. And, well, you know, I do like to say Dorms is the site you want to be winning. But Giants on the defense, it's a great start. Now they go down to basement. And Order have really got to show us what they've got here. They are the self-proclaimed best team on Oregon from the Oceanic region.
Well, this is something we don't see too often. It feels a bit like 2016, a mirror on basement Oregon. Often teams will ban it out because it's very powerful in shutting down the entries over towards blue. We also saw Luna place one of the mirrors facing laundry. So both of those choke points, despite already being difficult, are now only going to be increasingly hard to push. I don't know where... So he hasn't placed the second one yet. We'll have to monitor that. I thought it would have been to hold blue, but it might actually be to hold Freezer. So covering that southern side of the map and preventing Order from pushing there. He might have placed it depending on where the early intel is, but it looks like he will actually commit to it nice and early, or not. So maybe Luna, yeah, like I said, he's going to wait, try and work out where Order are pushing from, and then adjust where that second mirror is deployed.
It also just opens up a bit of versatility for Giants not locked in. You can see what Order sort of are planning here. Bit of damage, by the way, to Ippy-Style, about half health, roughly. Not ideal. Still a lot of time in the round, and that is going to be the mirror committed to Freezer. Mizera in there as well. And just sensing the pressure building from Order around that Freezer side.
And I'd have to say, from what the Giants know so far, that's probably the best place to deploy it. You can see all the outlines on that southern side of the map. Sure, Order now might rotate over towards the tower. I feel like both teams are sort of trying to get a feel. Where are they going to push from? Where do we need to deploy that utility, right? Order maybe sensing that laundry push / freezer isn't the play, are now rotating around, but we're almost at the halfway point of the round. It doesn't feel like they've got a massive foothold at the moment. They need to start working these hatches and trying to get control of Pillar as quickly as possible.
We've still got all 10 drones alive as well, actually, Order. So drone economy is looking great. They can go down into basement, start maybe throwing a couple away at the last couple of seconds and find some of these locations. Looking at some of their hatch work as well. We've got meeting open, security's open, laundry's open. So I think Order right now with a minute to go, 5 players up, aren't in a bad position. They can find an early frag before dropping on down. That would have put them in a better spot. Unfortunately, though, it goes the other way. Hysterics will get the opening frag onto Ippy-Style, who was, of course, half health, like I mentioned before. And it just throws a spanner in the works here. Joker's going to win this one at backstairs, and I don't think he will. Speak easy. Shuts him down. It's a 3-on-5.
Make it a 2-on-5, and this round has fallen apart for Order. Specker and Cutie trying to salvage something out of nothing, really. A nade gets sent out over towards Pillar, but that gets caught. Specker to follow that up on foot, but doesn't really find its mark. Speakeasy still running that shotgun tucked deep into the corner. In fact, there's a shield over towards the top store as well. An intense crossfire established here from the Giants, and it pays dividends again. In fact, it's the C4 to gather that kill. But now Specker needs to try and go nuclear. He finds one. That's all he's good for. Speakeasy to shut that down.
It's the perfect start for Giants on defense here for Oregon, where it has been notably and statistically attacker-sided throughout APAC South thus far. And believe me, guys, we've seen our fair share of Oregon already in just 2 play days. So unfortunately for Order, Dorms unsuccessful, Basement unsuccessful, And now Giants are going to send it to Kitchen Dining, which we are typically used to seeing Kitchen Meeting instead.
100%. That's been the trend tonight. We haven't seen a whole lot of this objective played, as you mentioned, Meeting favored by a lot of the defensive teams. Very excited to see what the Giants whip out, and that 6 pick on the Clash from Yazira could prove very, very fruitful. Obviously, an incredibly frustrating operator to deal with in matchmaking. Maybe not as much in competitive, where teams are well drilled in dealing with this operator, but still, it does drain utility, it drains time, and if you don't clear it, it is that frustration factor that could potentially tilt a team. So I'm keen to see exactly where Yazira decides to play. He might roam over towards small tower and deny that entry, maybe get more aggressive over towards the kitchen hallway and prevent a creep up from there. He has a lot of options available to him.
The other part of the equation here as well is more so on the side of Order. How much of Kitchen Dining have they really played recently when Kitchen Meeting is more prevalent, especially in the Oceanic region and even here in APAC for that matter, right? So this might just catch Order by surprise, and they're going to have to adjust sort of on the fly here. And it's Hysterics again, opening frag onto Jack Dad, not even 10 seconds into the round.
I think that was a frag at the front door. In fact, it was. You can see Ibistal running over his corpse as he boosts up the Master Bulk from Safety and Sanctuary over towards Armory, creating third angles in towards Garage. And this is a position that could be cut off. There's only one door out, or forced to leap out the window. If Order drone this out and push him out of this position, it should be a free kill, and I think Spec is coming alongside to assist.
What an amazing start for Hysterics so far, for the Giants as well as a team. Ibistal just going to spot Yazira and just gets quite a bit of damage and a bit of help elsewhere too. Spec, a nice swing down to the corridor too, and does get the knock into the flush as well from Ibistal. And it's just frags happening everywhere right now for Order. 4 versus 2 in what feels like the blink of an eye at the 1 minute 50 mark as well. Unprecedented at the moment for an OC team that's used to playing in a very 20-second meta environment. Speakeasy though, not someone that you want to allow to get back into this round, and Joker shuts him down. Double kill. Order are on the verge of finding their first round here on Oregon.
Nice shot there from Jordan to drop the diffuser. Not sure whether or not you saw it. Of course, no point notifications. In competitive, narrowly misses that shot there onto the player at the top of Breeze's stairs, and now he's forced to repeat, try to retake above, but Specker, he has the game sense. He knows exactly where Jordan is positioned, swings the stairs, gets the pick and the round for his team.
Well, I feel like, guys, that's a bit of a sigh of relief for Order. The first 2 rounds were just so dominant from Giants, especially on the defensive side, right? And then you go into this 3rd round and Hysterics just gets a run out onto Jack Dad. I mean, if that doesn't put your mental in the bin, I don't know what does. And for them to be able to come back from that, win the round on Kitchen Dining, which is an, sort of unfamiliar sight, it just says Order are up for the task here against the Giants. They're not going to go down easy. They are going to put up a fight.
Attackers need to,
and they've shown it there as we head back upstairs, 2nd floor. We head to dorms.
And I quite liked the recovery effort, I guess, in that round from Order. They were 4-5 down, but they still went through the steps and went through the process of clearing out those roamers. Sure, you could make the point that maybe those giant roamers were a little bit too over-aggressive, but Order, they were in great positions to cut that off. They had the intel, they played off it, and they were fruitful in the end. They get their first round here on Oregon. They'll be looking to get a few more. I don't think they'll be content with something like a 2-4 rotation, for example. They want to try and pick off one of these other sites, and I guess that really does start here back on dorms.
5 seconds to insertion.
I mean, you don't have to bring it up. You know how much I value this site. Giants have won it already. They won it in the very first round, which we don't usually see dorms as the opening round on Oregon. But we've seen some funny things tonight, so anything can happen. Order have got to bite back here, though. You don't really want to be allowing Giants to get dorms twice, and then they can head down to basement, and then all of a sudden you're kind of staring down the barrel of a pretty rough attacking half on what is an attacking sided map thus far in the season. But every matchup is different. Every team and all the players, of course, have got their different strengths and weaknesses. Giants right now are looking to continue their aggressive play style. We've already seen a couple of runouts, a lot of early kills, a 2-minute opening death in round number 1, and a 2:45 in round number 3. Luna.
Oh, surely he doesn't go for this. I mean, the Giants are not afraid to play peekaboo outside the building. We saw Speakeasy lit up early in the round, presumably from a spawn peek attempt, and Luna, he spent the entire round almost looking outside the building, or at least intending to. He is in a great position here if someone boosts up onto the belt to swing them with the SMG, but it will take a miss drone, you would think, from Order to miss a player in a pretty obvious location, or at least an easy to see location inside of this room.
So a lot of pressure from Giants on this games room, and they've also got a player over an Addict as well, one down below. It's essentially just covering all of the angles of attack here for Order. So Order's got a bit of work to do. They don't want to lose one earlier here either to Luna. Of course, only a 1 second run out timer now, so Luna can't really just run to the balcony and peek it without being detected. Yippee style again, half health, has been doing this for a while. Yeah, that's just not going to work from that angle. Jack down with the opening frag down to Hysterics.
They're planting. I don't know what has gone on here, but Joker, he's just sticking the play. Oh, they've jumped in straight through the double window. Yazira and Jordan now left in the post plant. They get it to a 2-on-2. Jordan, a triple in this round. Specker needs to hold firm, needs to be mindful of the swing, but finds the pick in the end. Yazira, with half HP, has a lot of work to do here. Specker's still hiding in the corner. It's a massive impact nade though. One more shot will do the job, and he still has 20 seconds to work with, but Cutie is holding the cross beautifully from that double window. I don't think this clutch will be possible. Misses the shots onto Specker, and there we go. Cutie will capitalize and Order take their second round on Origin.
Well, we totally missed it. At least I did. All the focus was on games, at least from the side of Giants, and then Order are like, okay, we'll just go double window. We'll go for the quick plant. We'll get that opening frag from Jack Dad onto Hysterics, and then the round just turned on its head that quickly. Giants just leaving a bit of a hole there in their defense, and Order able to capitalize. That's full credit to them. And that ties us up 2-2. And as I sort of precluded to earlier, we are going to be heading downstairs to the basement.
Attackers need to
But
locate
right now
the
for
diffuser.
Order, they have turned things around after losing dorms and basement. They win kitchen dining and now dorms. Can they secure this basement site? At least guarantee 3-3 at the minimum for the half Guz, and at best go 4-2.
Well, heading into round 5, the Giants seem to be sticking with what works. It's the exact same operator lineup to what we saw in that second round where Giants took the victory. Remembering back in that round, we saw the strong Black Mirror positions from Luna. We saw some pretty crazy antics over towards Pillar with the likes of Speak Easy. And I assume the Giants will be doing pretty much the exact same here. Try and hold those key locations for as long as possible. Make life really difficult for Order as they gain those key locations, or at least attempt to, and drain down that time, forcing a really late execute, which in this case probably would not favor Order.
Well, the last time we played basement, it was one of the slower rounds. So far, a lot of our opening kills in this matchup have been actually beyond 2 minutes at some times. Hysterics twice. The last round, of course, around that minute and a half mark, and basement was about 55 seconds. We kind of actually expected some sort of late drop down, but regardless, Giants ended up holding on. A lot of the discussion was around that mirror. Was it going to face Freezer? Once again, it will. And once again, a lot of pressure there on that Freezer side here for basement. Order just cleaning things up a little bit, though, as this match goes on. 4 downstairs for Giants. Wondering where the 5th may be.
That is a good question. So all 5
no,
are
actually,
down
all
low.
5 are down, right?
Yeah, it's just Jordan playing a little bit more aggressive over towards the blue double door, but I don't think his hands will be full too early here as Order once again try and take control of meeting. As you can see, they're popping the hatches using 4 pallets from the X-Kairos launcher. I assume Spec is also looking at an open hatch above Freezer. For whatever reason, 3 pallets only exploded there. So Order will need to go back and touch that up. So both hatches should be opened in a jiffy, and they are. Jack Daddy uses a summer, I believe, to finish that off. But now comes the real test. This is where Order stepped up last time they defended this side. It was all about pillars and stairs, and Speak Easy again will go huge over towards pillar. That's a 2k for him in the round, and honestly, that's probably round over for Order. They don't have control of pillar. They're 2 men down. This is going to be very, very tough.
And I was going to say, for Order, this was probably looking all right. Like, no real roam pressure at all from Giants above, whether it be first or there was just nothing really in way of Order having to worry about any of that. And still, all it takes is Speak Easy to just find a quick double, and like that, the round's over. Like, Order don't even get a real chance at this. They'll drop down, but it's just going to be all too easy for Speak Easy. No pun intended, flawless round. Giants take it back after 2 in a row to Order. They will take a 3-2 lead.
It's a huge round there from Speak Easy, finding so many kills and all in such a critical location, and that is a testament to just how strong Allah is with that shotty. I can't tell you how many times in ranked I have come up against a ranked star and it has just been an absolute pain in the backside. You wouldn't think you'd see it in comp. Normally you wouldn't. Not in NA, not in EU, but this is APAC. I mean, you might see it in LATAM, but this is APAC. Nut stuff gets brought out all the time, and it works. Speak Easy, that's 2 rounds now where he's convincingly helped his team hold such a key location with what many would consider an unorthodox method.
Epistar is actually going to go for the 6th pick. We haven't actually seen Order change their lineup too often, guys. In fact, I don't think they've changed it at all the entire match so far, at least from what I can see on our own tracker here. So the IQ from Epistar for Dorms, I'm not sure. To find the belt cams, maybe?
Yeah, I'd say that's probably the main reason you would select IQ. On this map or on this objective, there's cameras can be placed in a lot of positions outside to watch rappels on the likes of Master, Kids, even the Gen window, for example, and you can actually place them in a lot of sneaky positions in and around the site as well. So a good counter pick there from Order. Epistar will have his hands full dealing with that, and it's probably wise that of all players, he's the one jumping on that. He has a great gun to work with, but unfortunately for him, he hasn't been going that hard in the frag department so far, so he'll just keep busy finding those cams, and he'll still be contributing to the team effort.
Bomb located by attackers.
Well, Epistar's going to have fun for the next minute or so, playing Sweeper, gets rid of one black eye already. Big round, though. I mean, we joke a lot about Dorms, but forgetting the side itself right now, it's just the fact that it's the final round and a half. Order do not want to be down 2-4 off the back of an attacking half on Oregon. 3-3's a pass mark. We'll give it a par. It's not really a win, but I guess against Giants, maybe you could take a bit of solace in that. Forcing them 3-3 at the half is never going to be an easy feat considering their stature. But the biggest thing for Order really should be this entire round, do not lose a player in the next minute or so.
X-Kairos rain out. I assume from the sound that Joker to the bottom of screen, or at least north of screen now, opening up Attic. Jack Daddy on Ace will likely be trying to work the games wall soon. Luna in a position to keep an eye on that as the Salma is deployed and opens up the angle. Ysero with a very long impact grenade. That may have been enough to disrupt that angle. We'll have to wait and see the breach. And there we go. That's really nice there from Ysero. It's a small play, but it could have an impact on this round.
Scanning for electronic devices. Bomb detected.
Still open, though, by at least one, right? So you've still got sightline play that you've got to be careful of if you are Giants. Joker just taking a big chunk of damage, though, over in Big Tower. It's lucky he wasn't standing a foot closer, otherwise he might have been eliminated there. Minute 10 seconds, though. This is going to be tough for Joker to get involved. He needs help elsewhere. Cutie from below, not going to be successful in trying to throw that one through. Epistar does find the opening frag, even as the IQ onto Luna. Joker from above. He was so low health, but he had just enough to stay alive and take out Jordan. And an opportunity now begs itself in front of Order to close out the half and tie at 3-3. 5-3, 40 seconds left. Speak Easy as well is so low on health.
Ysero in a powerful position. He hit that impact, but now he needs to click some heads as well. He needs to try and swing and find Joker. That'll kickstart this round for the Giants. I don't know, Xanox. I think he's pinned down at the moment. This is going to be very, very challenging.
He doesn't even need to click his head either because he's so low health. He could just really hit his arm. Now a quick 3-3. Joker does go down. The Speakeasy still kind of low health here, right? So is it really a 3v3? I don't know what to see. Sarah's got another one. Double kill for the round, but the trade back from Jack Dad does come to fruition. And it does come down to Speakeasy. And it's not going to be easy this time around. It's going to be quite difficult as Jack Dad is going to try and stick the plant. Spec is just watching, making sure he doesn't get denied. Plant goes down. And this makes it even so harder.
It's another post plant upstairs for Order. Surely this one's easier. In fact, it definitely is easier. Jack Dad finds that final pick. And Order get another round on the board. Very well played. And some great late round trading to end out the half.
Just feels like we got a game, guys. It feels like we've got a match.
I was thinking the same thing, man. I was about to say we have a game on our hands. This one's feeling really exciting. I mean, we're 6 rounds in, and you just cannot pick these two teams apart. I think they've both shone in multiple rounds. They've been able to counter one another quite well as well. So that's only going to develop, I think, even further as this match progresses. And I know we haven't had too many OTs in APAC South. In fact, the first was actually today, but this could well be yet another.
Defenders, protect your bomb.
Long way to go. Long way to go, especially with Giants now going over to the attacking half. So I definitely still, in my mind right now, I value Giants a bit more here because they are on the attacking side and they're good enough that they should be able to dictate things quite comfortably against Order. So Order are up against the wall here. They're on the ropes, but they're not on the, they're not close to that knockout blow yet because it is 3-3. But if they're not careful before they know it, it could be something like 5-3, and then they would be staring down the barrel of defeat. Got to start strong. They go down to basement for their first round of their defense half. But I'm so intrigued to see how Giants are going to play this and look to unlock this Order defense.
Couple of key differences in terms of operator selection contrasting Order and Giants. I mean, there's quite a few really when you look at it. Legion being brought to the board. We're also seeing the Melusi and the Valkyrie as well. None of those operators saw the light of day downstairs for the Giants. So that might facilitate some more offside aggression. We didn't really see the Giants roam a whole lot, but Joker, I mean, he's sending it right above. He can use those boom mines to his advantage, cover his own flanks and pushes when required. And if his teammate is buddied up with him as well, that of course will only further reinforce that position. Cutie as well getting aggressive. Keep in mind, this is where Speakeasy was popping off with the shotgun. The MPX, while strong, might be pretty difficult to compete against some of the high damage assault rifles on the side of the attack at that kind of range.
And Jordan going with the Nomad, we haven't seen, I don't think Nomad at all on Oregon so far. I could be wrong there, but it's definitely not the expected pick. See how that plays out for Jordan and the Giants. I like the Legion pick though for Joker. You can make something work with this and have a bit of that roam game, which we didn't actually see much of from the Giants. We never saw anything like this from their defense. A player roaming around, say, second floor, not even really first floor roaming on basement, right? Does take out 2 drones early on, which was one thing that Order was doing really well on their attacks was their drone economy. But Spectre will be eliminated first by Hysterix, who finds a second one, and Hysterix has just been hysterical.
Well, you can burn time and you can burn drones as much as you want, but if Giants end up winning their ones and finding those picks, cutting off those rotations, that's all that really matters. That is what will convert you the round, provided you still have a reasonable amount of time to work with late round. And I mean, look at the timer, we still do. Cutie getting lit up downstairs. He's very much boxed into this corner inside of Pillar. Again, a key position to hold, but it's going to be ever more challenging as that pressure continues to amp up from the Giants.
Bomb located by attackers.
The biggest difference here, though, compared to some of those attacking rounds for Order, where they many times actually lost a player or two early on, is when you're on the defense. The Giants just take a bit of a misstep, make a mistake. It's easy to kind of get back into the round. Giants, though, of course, aren't a team that are going to make many mistakes. So when they do, you've got to capitalize every single time if you are going to beat them. And they are starting to look quite switched on here. And I'm a bit worried for Order. As Giants continue to attack in the second half, I can see it really blowing out. There's one back at least. Izera's going to swing out though and catch the trade. As Cutie didn't last much longer. Nice C4 from Ippy but finds himself in a 1v3 now and doesn't last much longer. Giants win the round as expected.
Very solid response there from the Giants, and I think that was all facilitated really by the first 2 picks of the round. They got it into a 3-on-5 with half of the round remaining, and from there they had a lot of freedom to set up exactly how they wanted. With such a strong man advantage and time advantage, you really can just take a breath. You can take 5 or 10 seconds to just relax. I'm sure Luna would have told the team, slow down, chill out. We have the time. We can do whatever we want now. Let's just play the default execute. And there we go, it worked out in the end, very clean. That's a good way to start off an attack.
Well, I think the most clear standout right now for me on an individual level has to be Hysterics. I've got noted down here 4 opening kills. I think one of them I was maybe a bit unsure of, but the other 3 I'm 110% sure, Gus, has been a massive figure in Giants being able to have these early round leads of like 5-4 or 5-3. Order are constantly under the pump. They're just never really getting these opening frags. Only 2 rounds so far. We've played 7. So 2 out of 7 rounds, they've been, well, 2 out of 7 rounds have had some sort of advantage. The other 5 rounds, they've been at a disadvantage. And yet it's only 3-4 on the scoreboard. So if Order can start to have a bit more success in these earlier moments in these rounds, and I think we'll start to see the scoreboard really tick more towards Order's
10
side.
seconds to go.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a Giants fan right now, you've got to be happy when you look at that scoreboard, though. Speakeasy and Hysterics, 2 players that, when playing at their best, can really carry a team in that frag department, and you could see earlier those stats reflective of that, both fragging out so far. So Order now need to work out how are they going to try and shut down these 2 players. But it's not even just those 2, I guess. You've also got the likes of Ludo, who, despite maybe not having the biggest hit on the scoreboard, is renowned for his strong IGLing skills. He'd be keeping his team nice and calm and making sure that they're going through the processes required to win these rounds. We saw it in that last one, for example, where they just took a breath and got that round cleanly over the line. So far from the Giants, a very cohesive effort. Order will need to continue to just step up round after round.
Well said, as always, Gus. But I think for Order's sake, they should obviously have known this more than enough coming into this match against Giants. Every round is so critical, and every round Giants are going to give their absolute best, and it's going to be difficult. You're going to be in these moments as well. We get down a round or 2. Giants at some point may creep closer to that match point. Keep that mental fortitude. Keep that composure. Back yourselves in. This is your map, apparently. Order keeps saying it. Oregon's is theirs, but right now, and based on some very recent form, it's not looking that way. You got a bit of work to do. Giants just looking switched on here. Minute 40 into the round.
Drop the bomb diffuser.
Basement sign again.
And it's a heavy stack again here from Giants over towards the north side of the map near Big Tower, indicating to me that they'll try and take Pillar, maybe Blue late, go for that default plan over towards the B bomb site.
Attackers
You just need to make sure they establish that flank watch. Jordan with the Nomad, they have drones. Plenty of drones, in fact, in pocket that they could use as well. In fact, 7 still on the board. Thanks, Jordan, for flicking through them, giving us a bit of a tour of Oregon, if you would. But I mean, if you're Order, how are you going to try and flank this? You can't. You need to just hold firm over towards Pillar and Sight. Make sure your denial's on point, because if it isn't, Giants should be able to get that plant down with ease.
I definitely don't have the best eyesight, Gus, but I haven't been able to spot Joker for like a good 20 seconds here. Not sure exactly where he's being set up. All right, so way more defensive. How great is that observer, by the way? Absolutely top notch tonight. But way more defensive compared to what we saw in the last round, right? Where, you know, pushing aggressively towards Attic. We're going to get the drop in now, actually, for the meeting hatch. 35 seconds left of the round. QD opens it up. Something that Order haven't been able to do many times. Can they capitalize? Yes, they can. They all fall one by one. Although there are a few trade backs from Hysterics and Luna, who finds a second, makes it a 2 versus 1 now. Ippy and Jack Dad have their hands full with Luna.
So challenging to envision Luna winning this round as the time continues to tick down. 10 seconds left. Jack Daddy and Ippy with plenty of HP in the bank. They could hear that plank go down. They'll move, but they'll fall back as it's faked out. But Ippy commits, finds the pick, and Order bounce back for round number 8.
Man, it feels like Luna was going to come away with that at one point. Giants are just so clinical in those high pressure stakes moments. And it's also very chaotic when you've got 3-4 people dropping down a hatch. The other 2 are running down back stairs. It's just all happening all at once. Credit to Order. They were able to get those first 3 frags of the round. Especially when it's Giants that just start charging at you. It can be kind of sweaty moments. Order kept their composure, like I said they kind of needed to do. 4-4, they win basement. We go back up to dorms, where they have been very successful. 3 rounds of dorms, guys, 2-1 in favor of Order.
And I guess just quickly reflecting on that last round, as I guess a neutral observer, it was really fun to watch the contrast between those last 2 rounds, right? Order in round number 7, they just full roamed, went as hard as they could to try and stop the Giants from entering the building and tried to deny as much time as they could, but the attack just steamrolled them. Just got through it really easily, easy to execute in the end. Then, that most recent round, where Order decided to hunker down on site, play a bit more passive, and try and prevent the execute, the Giants, they looked a little bit just disjointed, to be completely honest. In the end, they just said, stuff it. We're just going to drop down the hatch, which was always going to be a 50-50 play. In the end, they just got mowed down. That's what you would expect on most occasions against a team like Order, who are strong on the frag department. So maybe that's the way this map will trend. Maybe Order now will, for the rest of the match, just hunker down, try and force the Giants into that execute play style, if that's the way it's going to play out.
It's interesting you bring that up, because it was actually a round that played out very similar to Giants' defensive basement, right? He keep doing it. This man just can't keep getting away with it. He starts with another opening kill, and again giving a big advantage over to Giants. Going back to my point was that Giants played that, very defensive side of basement until, with a minute to go, Speakeasy pushed up, I think it was backstairs, and got a quick double to win the round as Order were getting ready to execute onto site.
Oh.
So you just saw the head, but he didn't quite go for the shot. Hysterics will make him pay. The round's over before it's even started. We haven't even seen dorms until just that little flick of the player cam there. 2-5. And there's 2 minutes to go.
And this does feel eerily similar to that 7th round, where Order went for the failed roam. On this occasion, sure, it's a different site, but they tried to extend over towards Dining and Small Tower and again prevent that push, bleed time. But they just didn't win their ones, gave away free picks. And now in a 4-on-2, the Giants again can just reset. Everyone relax, don't rush anything, drone it out, find out where these players are, and go for the execute. And if they drone it properly, they'll know Jack Daddy is literally the only player on site, and the Giants should be able to easily trade that out.
Yeah, great droning and patience from Giants. Paying dividends in the end.
Oh,
Still a lot of time here, though, right? Cutie's going to come in behind and get a kill here. This is the easiest kill. Oh, he's got Diffuser down as well. He'll get a second. He's got 3 for the round. Cutie, clutch moment, and just turns this entire round on its head, upside down. Giants, all of a sudden, through Jordan and Hysterics, have got a lot of work to do to salvage what surely was the unlosable and may still be winnable. It is going to be down to Cutie. It started with Cutie, and it has to end with, through main entrance. Cutie was not ready for this one. The air jab as well. Oh, what a round from start to finish. It had it all, Guz.
Cutie was in the thick of it almost every single explosive moment in that round. He played a part. A fantastic flank there up Big Tower to find 2 critical picks, but unfortunately for him, Jack Daddy on site was unable to hold on. The swinging Hysterics proves too powerful, and in the end, the Giants are able to just get away with that round. They will not be happy with how that played out. They are a team that does not expect to be flanked like that. They had the Nomad on the board. They had the drones on the board. That should not be happening. Yes, they got the win, but they will be looking back at that VOD, scratching their heads how they let that happen, and they'll be breathing a sigh of relief now, knowing that they got away with a round that they probably shouldn't have.
I mean, the thing is, though, Giants had the early, 5-2 lead. It was all Giants' round to win anyway from the get-go, but then all of a sudden, Cutie's like, no, it's our round, and then Giants like, no, it's our round. So I just don't know whose round it is. I feel like it's ours, really, as spectators being able to just sort of watch the chaos unfold. 4-5 Giants lead. It's not quite match point, but it almost feels like it here, right? Because we're getting ever so closer to that point, and if Giants take a 6-4 lead, I feel like they're just too experienced guys to throw that away and for Order to bring it back to OT.
Ooh, I mean, I guess that last round you said it could have been either teams. It's going back and forth, and I guess the map feels like that, right? First half was 3 rounds to each team. So far, it's almost even, especially if, of course, Order managed to bring back a round. So it is, honestly, in my opinion, too early to call this match. I do think, though, the Giants, in the long run, should have that experience and the discipline to close this out, but maybe this is the night for OCE. They've already won the first 2 games. This could be the third.
And the other point to bring up, right, from one of the earlier games tonight, Elevate 7th Heaven. Elevate were tied 4-4 with 7th Heaven. 7th Heaven then won 2 rounds in a row, made it 4-6. Elevate then climbed back from that position, winning the next 4 rounds to close it out in OT. The other part throughout all the equations, of course, is that OT. If you send it to OT, great, you get a point, but the other team also can only get 2 points. So you're missing then on all 3 points. So for Giants or for Order, whoever gets that match point first really needs to capitalize, secure all 3 points, and it's going to matter in the long run for the season as a whole for the standings.
Looking into this round, though, the exciting thing that stands out to me is Lunametal playing on the Ying. We haven't seen her utilized just yet. We did see a counterpick from the Giants on their defense where they jumped onto the Warden, but Order, a team that does actually like playing Ying, didn't bring her at all. So expect Luna to get explosive late round. We could see maybe a double window execute come out here from the Giants, but Order need to be very, very careful. Sure, they have the Jaeger and they have the Wamai, but against the Ying, if utility is cleared well, that can be a massive headache when you literally cannot see what you're shooting at.
Yeah. So Jordan just roaming around, placing those air jabs around that first floor. Good vert defense for... Well, not vert defense, but technically anti-roam, I guess. Specker down below, of course. As you can see, 55 seconds left. Order well positioned. They're going to make sure, obviously, no double window shenanigans like they were able to pull off on their attack. As Jordan and Hysterix have both kind of lined up around this position, trying to just clear out a bit of this utility. A peek from Order, but unsuccessful. No shots landed onto Jordan, who's now going to just spray into double window. 35 seconds left of the round, and it is going to be that opening frag once again, as it usually is, going the way of Jordan's Giants. I got confused there with Jordan, who is keeping the pressure on that window right now. And right now, the pressure is just mounting. It is overflowing in the face of Order.
I think this round might be over. Specker caught over with small tower. Hysterix watching the rotate, narrowly misses as a 3-speed sprints past, but he jumps in, finds the pick, and it's a flawless round for the Giants. They were methodical, but also measured in the end. The Ying was brought out, they got in towards sight, and to be honest, by that point, I don't think it really even mattered. There was no one left to flash. It was just Specker on the lonesome roam. And look at that, match point for the Giants.
Well, this is the position that Elevate were in earlier. They were down 4-6, match point 7th Heaven. I can't recall if we thought it would play out that way in the sense that 7th Heaven would just close it out. I think you definitely would have thought that having tipped them, but right now it feels inconceivable that Order are going to be able to just claw back these next 2 rounds and force OT against this Giant side who are on the attack and attacking quite well. They've won 3 out of the last 4 rounds. And this brings us sort of back to some missed moments from Order, especially on Order's attack, along with that 9th round where Cutie almost brought it back, had the diffuser drop in front of him. You make those... You make up for those mistakes, and this is a different storyline. Unfortunately, though, this is the way everything has played out, and Giants are in this match point position, looking to capitalize and looking to gain their first points. Well, they've actually already got their first point now secured for APAC South, having confirmed at least 1. They're going to want all 3.
Back to Laundry for match point. We've seen a lot of it in this second half. It's the 3rd appearance.
5 seconds to insertion.
Sort of round 7, round 8. And now, of course, round number 11, and been a 50-50 split in this second half. The Giants took the first on their attack. It was a methodical roam clear, and then the second was an Order win. They held out and forced the Giants to drop late. So the question will be, what do Order commit to this round? And Specker commits to the spawn peak. Jordan taken off the board means there's no more flank watch outside of drones, and that could prove very costly if Order decide to hunker outside of the site, roam outside of the site if you would. And I mean, look at Joker at the top of your screen. That could be the key player to to counter that early pick.
Yeah, very unfortunate for Giants as well. Order's got a 100% success rate when they get the opening kill. So leans very heavy now into the favor for Order, especially on the defense. Makes things a lot more tricky, especially being basement site here for Giants. And if Order just sort of now bring it back, right? We've got our opening kill. We've got that 5-on-4 advantage. We don't need anyone else roaming around. We don't want to be losing anyone else early before the execute stage of this round. It's hard to see how Order lose this unless Giants just get some nutty shots.
Speak Easy going 11-5. Does have a Claymore, so at least there is some flank watch up here for the Giants. Cutie seemingly always holding this corner of pillars in a great position to maybe swing out wide as Specker finds his second in the round. That's the Zofia that has to say goodnight. And honestly, this is feeling like an Order round, Xenox. They've got the 5-3 advantage. The Giants look flustered. And sure, they have time, but I just don't think they have the manpower and the utility to try and get this done.
I don't think Giants would be flustered here, right? Because they've already got that match point sealed up. They've already got at least 1 point secured, even if it does go to OT, right? They've got this round and they've got the next round to kind of play around with and try and get these 3 points covered.
Oh, he's knife peeking. Oh, no. Oh, no. I hope Hysterics wins this gunfight just to deny this knife peek. This is absolutely disgusting from Jack Daddy, and he gets lit up. Oh, no. Hysterics would have been super mad if he had lost that gunfight. But as you can see, the Giants now 3 stacking blue Xenox. This is going to be, again, just another difficult choke point.
Yeah, a bit of a bloodbath sort of beckoning here. Order have played this well. Not overly aggressive peeking, knife peeking only, and then a shotgun to the belly of the Hysterics from Jack Daddy. Yasera. It's really just all about the formalities now towards the end of this 11th round. And we do head to now round number 12. This has been a title fight that is going the distance. 5-6 match point Giants, but Order are coming.
Bit of a steam train, if you would, here. Order desperately want to get this game to overtime and at least secure 1 point for themselves. And Xenox, it's going to be kids and dorms. It always seems to come down to this site whenever we're casting. The most critical site on Oregon. Again, it's another objective we have seen twice already. But on this occasion, it's 100% in favor of the Giants.
On their attack.
This does not bode well for Order.
Yeah, obviously, you're right. On Giants' attack, 100%. For Order's attack, they won it twice. Giants won it once on the defense. So, what's that, 3-2, I guess? But the only thing that really matters is sort of what you pointed out, the fact that Giants have won this twice now. Both successive times. Once in a really weird fashion, of course, that 9th round, where it was very much topsy-turvy, and then the 10th was flawless in the end, quite literally, for the Giants. So Order have kind of got to strike a bit of balance here, try and just not get too over aggressive that they lose 3 players inside the first 30 seconds, guys, like they did in that 9th round. But at the same time, they can't just allow the Giants to waltz in and get 5 kills too easily. Match point, the Order have what it takes to send it to overtime, guarantee themselves a point, also guarantee that Giants can't get all 3 if this goes to OT. There's a lot on the line in terms of the ramifications for the entire season here in this one round.
Only one operator change here for the Giants compared to their last attack on Dorms. In fact, their last 2, Luna substituting out the Ying or the Yana. And honestly, that's pretty well played. It's a bit of a big brain play, in fact, because Joker has brought the Warden in anticipation for that Ying. Which means that outside of the MPX and I guess, you know, being able to block the usual flashbangs, he's really not going to be that impactful and hard countering another operator. So keep an eye on his impact this round because it might be a little bit limited.
Attackers drop the diffuser.
I mean, he could just sit back, play back of kids, I guess, right? And just try and play that sort of defensive role without getting too involved. It's a possibility. The alibi's out there as well for Ippy Style. So there are a few shakeups here
Attackers recovered
compared to some of the previous rounds of Dorms. More so on the side of Order, but also some changes, of course, on the side of Giants. As you mentioned, no Ying this time. But this is just already the fact that Order, it's weird to say this, but the fact that Order haven't lost a player already, this is actually a massive win, because the amount of rounds in this series that they had already lost a player before we got into the 1 minute sort of territory was like 3 to 4 times. It's ridiculous.
I should give them some confidence in the late round here that they can hold on. It looks like the Giants want to try and clear out Attic and that pit position. As Cutie gets a big
Cutie.
C4 pick there. That's the opener for Order. How did the Giants respond? 2 players below on the roam. 2 players committed to holding pit. Jack Daddy take it down with a nade, but Joker can replace that position. And if there's anywhere the Warden should be playing, it's probably there. But I'm not even sure there's a rotate from kids to pit. In fact, there isn't. I don't think so. Joker can't even get in that position if he wants to.
Cutie does find a kill though onto Jordan. That is going to re-establish this very small margin lead for Order. 4 versus 3 for the round. 45 seconds left. This one is going to come right down to the final seconds. Oh, Ysera. Hey, it all happens to the best of us. Can't blame him. And also just gives away the position, right? That almost just shuts out that entire rotation up those stairs. 30 seconds left. What's Giants going to do here? 3 on 4.
25 seconds to work with Ysera. It's a big grenade from him. Lunar Metal. Keep in mind, he has the diffuser in hand. I believe he's located outside of that double window, Xenox. How will he get denied? He sends out a hologram. What intel can they play off now?
Gemini's been used. Now's the time to really go in, though. Shut down by Specker. That's the diffuser down. Just got to hold on here. It's Specker in a 1 versus 2. 2 seconds left. He lands the headshot, and they win the round. Order send it to OT. Specker, the clutch moment for Order. No 3 points for either of these 2 teams. It's 1 and 2. And we'll have to see who gets the 2 and who gets the 1 as we head into overtime.
Oh, Specker, he loves to talk a big game in the interviews and on the socials, but he backs it up on the server. That was very losable. All it had to take was for him to move a little bit too much to the right and go for that cheeky pre-fire into the second opponent, and we could be celebrating a Giants win right now, but that will not be the case. We're heading into the second overtime of the night and the second overtime of APAC South Stage 1. I still cannot call which way this game is going to go because it just keeps flip-flopping.
It's very incredible what Specker just did there, though. The trigger discipline and just to sort of counteract the adrenaline that would have been flowing through him to just like wide swing and peek or try and get the kill, you know, especially in a 1 versus 1, but just to hold that position, trust that your position is safe. You got the headshot as well, which you have to hit that, right? Don't gloss over that fact. He still had to hit that shot. If he whiffs that shot, he dies, and they lose the round and they lose the map, and Giants get all 3 points. So huge clutch moment from Specker. Probably a few hell yeahs in the comms. They might be pumped now, especially going down to defense on basement. You win this, and you got overtime match point, and you're attacking on Oregon. It is set up now for Order. They just have to execute, and Giants are now the ones kind of on the ropes here. They got to bite back a bit, throw a punch. They've just lost the last 2 rounds.
And the great thing for Order is they're going to be pumped for sure, but they can also carry across that defensive momentum into overtime. They don't need to worry about switching sides and setting up for attacks and whatnot. They can, sure, it's a different site, but they can still play with the same sort of mentality and game plan here on the defense. And wow, we're going to see the commitment on the roam here from Joker. We've seen really good roam clear from the Giants thus far. So this is pretty ballsy from Joker, to be completely honest. But if he can pull this off, then maybe the Giants, again, will look a little bit flustered in that late round if they don't have the time to work with.
And of course, last time we saw Order on the defense here for basement, they found that early frag thanks to Specker at around the 240 second mark. Cutie's going to get droned out here, so he's just going to fall down backstairs. But I like the aggression here from Order. They're in the game. They know they're in the game, and they know that they are the ones that can sort of dictate the flow of things. They don't have to sit back. But they also know how important it is to find this early frag, because as we've seen in the previous rounds in this matchup already, you get that opening frag. Right now, it's a 95% win rate. If you get the frag first, you win the round. It's crazy.
Cutie's taking a page out of Speakeasy's book, running the shotgun down below as Ippi gets that opening pick. And as you mentioned, Xenox, that is key. It's Jordan taken off the board with Buck, an operator that likely wouldn't have had a massive impact in this round either way, but it is still 1 less gun to work with, one less body to throw at this defense. I am so keen to track this gunfight here. What can QD do with this shotgun? Speakeasy is the player taking on this gunfight as well, so it could be a taste of his own medicine.
Yeah, Speakeasy's been nuts in this matchup as well. 13, 5, and 6 has just been by far and away the standout for Giants. And QD just walks straight into his sight lines. Gets punished for it, makes it a 4 versus 4, and now this gives Giants, though, momentum going into this execution stage for the round. They no longer are at a disadvantage. QD's gone, he's out of here. There's a minute left in the round, right? So Giants can attack here. They can drop down this meeting hatch if they want to. They're going to nade it out, try and just clear a few of these positions close by to the hatch. Luna's going to drop down as well with those Candelas going out. It's Hysterics with the frag onto Specker. A bit of payback from that last round. Ippy is down and now out for the count. In a 2 versus 5, Luna with the diffuser in hand. Joker's still creeping close by. Luna now holding pillar. Still a lot of time in the round, actually, to maybe salvage things here for Order, but it would be, well, one for the ages if they can win here. 2 versus 4, not going to happen with Hysterics roaming around down in basement. Giants secure the round, and they now have overtime match point.
Beautiful work there from the Giants, and I loved Luna's usage there of the Ying Candelas, facilitated the push, made Order look pretty unorganized there. They had to run around, try and find cover, find somewhere that wasn't flashed, and in the meantime, they were getting mowed down. The Giants, of course, with match point, 1 round away from securing 2 points towards the standings. We're going to be heading back downstairs. It feels like a sense of deja vu almost in terms of these downstairs defenses. They've all felt quite similar from both teams, in fact, and it's really which team can pick it apart best.
This is only the second time, guys, this season so far of APAC South that we are going to, of course, be in an overtime. We had Elevate versus 7th Heaven earlier. It was 8-6. But also, for those unaware, in OCN, in the Oceanic National Region, all of the overtimes have been 8-6. We have not really seen an 8-7. We haven't really seen a team come back when down overtime match point. This is massive for Giants. They've landed a massive blow onto Order. Order have got to attack this basement site, which they were unsuccessful in doing so, if we recall back over to the first half. So not only did they not achieve this feat, but they haven't even attempted it since the 5th round of this matchup. So it's been a long time coming that they're even going to have an attempt at this site. It goes without saying, and as we've sort of mentioned it a few times, this opening kill is still so vital. I know that Ippy Style got the opening frag in the last round, didn't win them the round. It was, you know, the other 5%. 95 to 5 is still not 100%. So now it's 90% to 10%. It's still crucial, and it's still going to play a big part in this round.
Keep in mind, this is a really big game for both of these teams. Neither has won a game in APAC South. Sure, we're only in the 2nd week. They've only played 1 match each out, but it's a short season. You need to win as many games as possible to try and gun for that 1st position if you want Order qualification to the major, or finish in the top 4 if you want to make it to the playoffs. So this is a big game for both of these teams because they will be eyeing off those positions. They'll be salivating for them, really. They know that they have what it takes to be the best in APAC on their day, but it really comes down to winning these important matches. And Order, being on that back foot, now need to recover. As you mentioned, there have not been many 7-8 or 8-7 results, if you would. So they are not positioned very nicely here.
Comes down to that, you know, the word of the day, mental fortitude, the dexterity of their minds to be able to overcome this scenario. It is way more important for Order here that they don't lose that opening pick, right? You, especially attacking this basement side, you want all 5. If you can't find the opening pick, if you can't make it 5-4, that's all right. You can deal with that. Just go down to the last 20 seconds, frag out, see if you can win your ones. But just don't lose that player early. Giants definitely respecting Order here, not doing anything too crazy on the roam game either. He's going to get thrown out here in blue. And he can just fall back.
I know I've said it before, but I'm going to say it again. Speakeasy at Pillar is going to be so crucial. He's going 16-5. He's holding such a key point of this objective. He's now rotated back towards site, probably feeling the heat over towards blue, but he could still have an impact close range with that shotgun. Try and offer some support to Hysterics, who's being flashed out. Now getting aggressive over towards blue, wins the fight with the FMG. That's huge onto QD. That's the sledge taken off the board. Any nades taken down with him. And maybe now the Giants can just hunker down, hold on, as Order try to set up for some sort of execute.
First Selma charge was denied. Second one, I think, has been successful. Order down a player, make that to Hysterics. Well, if Speakeasy's the fragger, Hysterics has been the fragger in terms of when it matters the most early on in rounds, getting these advantages. Order just getting picked apart right now. 19-4-7 for Hysterics. Giants looking to close this one out. 8-6 in overtime, like the Giants they are. And to get their first 2 points of the season
remaining.
by beating a very valiant Order lineup. Specker down to the last seconds. He won't give up on this one, but Itby-Star, that's a quad. Not quite the ace. Jordan clutching out the last kill on Specker. GG's in chat. Flawless in the end from Giants. What a match. 8-6. They defeat the Oceania side of Order in an absolute nail-biter. Indeed, a very hard-fought victory.
So many big plays there from the Giants. Speakeasy and Hysterics going absolutely huge when it matters for their team. They bounce back after a disappointing week 1 and they get some points on the board. 20 kills from Hysterics.
Oh, man.
That is absolutely
35
enormous.
between the two, guys. 35 between Speakeasy and Hysterics. That is crazy.
Wow. You don't see that every day, and my word, I think the Giants will be happy with that end result. Safe to